Well, welcome everyone to Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game. I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist, and on today's show, tax savings with income property, part 5 of our series on real estate investing with best-selling author, real estate economist, and host of the Real Wealth Show, Kathy Fettke. Kathy, you're entering into the Steve zone. I'm all about taxes, saving it. I don't want to spend one more dime to Uncle Sam. With the new president and everything else, we may get our wish here. Who knows? When I'm talking about real estate, though, until Reagan came on, real estate was, wow, interest deduction. You had all kinds of things you could do. But what do we have today to play with from a tax point of view? Okay, I have income coming in now. I got a property hopefully appreciating, right? Yeah. Now I may be able to even shelter some money because of this purchase. Talk to me about that.
Well, President-elect Trump kind of gave our secret away, didn't he? When his tax returns were exposed and it was found that maybe he hasn't paid any taxes. So the truth is that the tax benefits from owning real estate, it's tremendous. And most people don't understand it. Even a lot of CPAs don't understand it, or they would do it or teach you how to do it. So unfortunately, everything could change. And so what I'm telling you right now is true for right now, and could change. But one of the benefits we have is the 1031 exchange, which means that if you bought a property and it gained a bunch of value, and you sold that, you would have to pay between 15 and 20% in capital gain unless you bought a replacement property of the same value or more. And if you did that, you would defer your capital gain and not have to pay it at all, or you defer it, and then when you die, which unfortunately happens to everybody,
I've heard.
Yes, then it would step up to market value for your heirs, and because it's market value, there's no gain, so you don't actually pay the tax, and that is actually how I got into the industry.
Okay, well, let's just back up, just make sure we know the mechanics. I have a home.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell the home.
Yeah.
But I want to reinvest as well back into another real estate property.
And again, we're talking about investment. So
right,
if
investment.
Your primary would have a different,
right. So I can actually exchange without a taxable event from one property to another.
Yes.
It carries forward the capital gain, right? But it's future. I haven't had to pay it.
Yep.
And as long as I'm using the 1031 exchange, I'm actually sheltering whatever profit I had on this investment property to my new investment property.
Yes.
Now, okay, so how many times can I do that?
As many times as you want.
Okay, so you could be buying and selling all the time and using a section 1031 to cover this off. Is that correct?
It is correct right now. Now, Obama had some ideas that he wanted to change, and he wanted to limit it to $1 million per year. He's no longer in charge. And so our new administration may have some different ideas on that, and that's what we don't know yet. Some people are saying that the offset to, and again, we won't know, but that if indeed the corporate tax rate goes from 35% down to 15%, that maybe the 1031 would be eliminated. So we just don't know. But that's why I'm telling everybody, if you have a property that has had an enormous gain, it's increased in value because you bought it a long time ago, now is a really good time to look at possibly the 1031 exchange. Because like I said, a lot of our California listeners, they maybe have one really underperforming property, just it's maybe a 1% or negative cash flow is very common. Just that one trade into selling one property and buying maybe 20, that you're allowed to do that. And suddenly going from negative cash flow to $20,000 a month cash flow. Now's the time to do that because it may or may not be there in the future. Take advantage of it. And
let's just pretend there's a worse scenario, though I don't know. My mind would think that President Trump would have a different view on this than President Obama.
Yeah.
But let's just say that we saw it coming. They told us that this is the new reg. They usually give you a little time, right? It's going to be a major fire sale here. I mean, there's going to be some games going on here all day long. But if it doesn't change right now, today, under current code, 1031s are the way to go and really preserve your ability not to have to pay capital gain. Who wants to pay anything, much less capital gain? So that's one way of ensuring a tax advantage or a tax-favored investment with real estate.
That's one way.
Now, I noticed you got here, you talk about, now I can kind of see a REIT in an RIA, okay, just being Steve being the planner, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard for me, it's difficult for me when you're talking about investing in an IRA. But are you talking about, I just bought 2 or 3 individual homes in my neighborhood? IRA, is that what you're saying?
Oh, well, are you talking about a self-directed IRA?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people don't understand that you can buy real estate in your IRA.
But a regular down the street home.
Oh, yeah. No, it's amazing. And so many people don't know this, and it's totally legal. There's no penalties for it. The thing is, you can't do it through a regular brokerage house because they're limited. They're only investing in the stock market or certain annuities or REITs or whatever. And so you would have to go to a self-directed IRA custodian because you can't ever touch the money. It always has to be treated like an investment. But that custodian would then sign the contract for you and make the payments to the property manager. And we do syndication, so you can invest in that, or private lender, but you can just never sign anything. You can't do flips, meaning you can't paint, you can't do anything materially, but as long as it's treated like an investment, you can do it. And when people talk to their financial planners, they'll say, yes, certainly you can self-direct, but what they mean is you can pick your stock or whatever. So you literally can invest in real estate. You're not pulling the money out of the IRA. The IRA is investing in it, but it has to go through a self-directed IRA.
Okay, let's say daytime comes now. Steve's retired. He has to start cashing in some of my self-directed IRAs that are chock full of neighborhood housing. Right? So how do I do that?
Yeah, if you want to sell?
Yeah, I'm ready to take some money. I'm going to have to pay taxes on all that.
No, see, this is the beautiful thing.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Wait. Let me back up. I got a tax deduction, full IRA tax deduction on this?
Yeah, so let's
ordinary
say
income tax, just like on a regular IRA.
Well, no, you don't get. Okay, let's say that we had a guy who had $500,000 in his retirement fund, or he had like $1 million, and he took $500,000 of that and self-directed into a self-directed IRA account with a custodian, and he bought 5 homes in Texas 10 years ago. I helped him do this. Now those homes have doubled in value. Let's say he wanted to sell those homes, or he wanted his IRA to sell those homes, and he directs it because his IRA is a separate entity. So the IRA sells the homes, but they've doubled in value. All of that profit goes back into the IRA. You can do whatever you want with it then.
Right, but did I take an ordinary income tax deduction like a traditional?
You don't get to take the deductions.
Okay, I don't. Okay, that's a separate issue.
You don't, but all the gain, all the income from that, everything goes back into the IRA tax deferred.
And until you spend it and make distributions.
Correct.
All right, so I'm not. So it's more like if I can do the analogy, the Roth IRA, I get no deduction. So when I do a traditional Roth, I can put anything pretty much in there except for maybe life insurance. I can put everything else in there.
Yeah.
And I get it, the money comes out, but that comes out tax-free. I didn't get a deduction.
Yeah.
You're saying I don't get a deduction on this self-directed IRA.
Well, no, I mean, it's treated just like an IRA. But I meant you don't get the real estate tax deductions.
Okay, but if I put in $10,000 to buy a home, and that was the number I'm putting the $10,000 in cash. I wrote it out. Yeah. Am I getting an ordinary income tax deduction on my IRA?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love that. I'm all over that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so at the end game, I might have, let's say I have 10 houses in my self-directed real estate IRA, and I have to start selling this off now. Of course, that's going to be taxable, right? Because I have to pay. It's a distribution. I took a deduction.
Only if you take it out. So just think of it as if you have an IRA and you get all the benefits of that IRA. So you on today's taxes you get to write that, you get to deduct it. But that IRA is investing in real estate instead of stock. It's all the same. If you sell a stock in your IRA,
that's okay. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of when you have turned 70 and you say, now all your qualified plans, IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, defined benefit pensions.
Yes.
All that has to be certain. It's going to be calculated at age 70, and you'll have to give some minimum distribution.
Yes, you got to do that.
Okay, just make sure. Just trying to give the
you got to do
up,
that. You got to follow all the IRA rules.
You know, how to pay very little taxes. I always think about when I hear about real estate, and I see President Trump's billions of real estate holdings, and then thinking that, yes, I don't know if I'll see his tax return ever or not, but I don't care. That's his private thing. To me, it's not a requirement. I don't know what they're making a big deal, but
I just want to see it.
He did it on real estate. And when you think about the most of our big Reg D clients or higher, like the Trumps of the world, the Goldman Sachs, like you just said, you went to Goldman Sachs. I mean, half those guys are in the cabinet already, right?
I know.
So I'm just saying. So, but I'm thinking about how moving forward with all this, I mean, this could be a play, depending upon the law and what they're going to change, that's changed. But for many people, they have really used real estate, not only as an investment, but they've used it as a tax advantage play. And to me, that's one of the big things that you bring to the table this week at the end of our 4th series is there's tax games here. It's not only just income. It's not only just appreciation. I might have some tax advantages in favor to this.
It's unbelievable, the tax advantages. You can get to a point where you literally pay no tax. And, you know, President Trump was really criticized for that. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of us don't want to have to pay as much tax as we do. And there are ways to get around it through. With an investment property, you can write off all the expenses. You can even, you get depreciation on that property. There are just, you can become a real estate professional, which means that you could take all of those deductions against your earned income. So there's a lot to it. I have a list of CPAs that really understand this stuff that we're happy to refer to clients, because a lot of CPAs actually don't understand it.
I'm barely understanding it. Well, listen, I want to thank my very special guest, Kathy Fettke, for being on our show. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any ideas on our show, always check your tax consultant, legal counsel, or your financial advisor. You've been watching Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game.